Hi, welcome to Sunfire Woods Off-Grid Homestead Channel. Thanks for joining. Today, again, we are not on Sunfire Woods Homestead. We are at the rental property. And just a quick update, it looks like things are getting closer to a go for getting started up on Sunfire Woods. We have had the county we are in rightfully puts a hauling ban on large equipment when the roads are icy, when the weather is super inclement, and it has just been a strange, weird year for the weather. And the road hauling ban just came off last week. So it's getting to be go time up on Sunfire Woods. And if I can get my act together, we'll be starting to see a whole lot more going on up there. But for today, I figured I'd give you a little update on our little bucklings that Monarch had. They're coming up on 3 weeks old, and there's another surprise. Couldn't help myself. Let me just flip this around. Okay, first off, we got the little baby boys with Mama. And our little boys are doing great. We've named them. Tika is the little white one, and Masala is the honey blonde or honey brown. And Tika here, we got his legs straightened out, so he is walking, running around, playing like a real live goat should, and he's just doing great. Now I will say that if you notice, they are just coming up on 3 weeks old. At 7 days old, I had them disbudded, meaning their horns, the cells in their horns where their horns should grow, there's a process called disbudding, and that's done with a very hot iron designed for this. It kills off all the cells at the horn base so that their horns just will not grow. This is a personal choice. Some people will choose not to do this. However, for me, as a first-year goat owner, this is the first year I've ever had goats, I had decided I would rather play it safe. A lot of times I've heard so many horror stories about yearling goats in their first year having their horns getting stuck in the fencing and hanging themselves to death. Horns can also be potentially dangerous, especially when they're wild. When I got Monarch here, and yes, that's the surprise right behind her. There's 3 new babies I'll talk about in just a moment. When I got Monarch, when I got Ruby, when I got Maverick out there, they're all 3 are Kikos. And the standard in the Kiko community is not to disbud them. They need to grow their horns. However, I'm not in that camp. And we'll show you Boomer here because we're going to talk about him too. Boomer is a dairy breed. He is a La Mancha. And Monarch and Maverick are meat breeds. So the reason I mentioned Boomer is he is the sire. He's the daddy to these little boys right here. And if you notice, Boomer didn't have any earbuds. He can hear just fine. It's kind of like if you remove your earlobes, you can still hear because you have ear canals, right? Same thing with Boomer, same thing with these guys. They can hear just fine. However, they are a cross between Kiko and La Mancha, a cross between dairy and meat, so they have cute little elf ears. But I was going to continue on saying, with the disbudding, with the killing off the cells of the horns, it's a process that takes a minute, literally. It's more traumatic in that minute that they're doing it, and 2 minutes later, they're fine. They were feeding on Mama. They were popcorning, what we call popcorning. I swear these boys have popcorn in their feet. If you know what parkour is, I think that baby goats invented parkour. You see, he is just jumping all around, and they'll parkour, they'll launch themselves off of the hay bag or off their mama, off a wall, and just go out and have a great time. And you see they're climbing on mama now. And she's such a good, patient mama. She has been taking care of them so very well. Now the plan for these boys, at least one of them will go to the freezer, our freezer, and we're not sure yet if we will sell one for another herd, keeping him intact, meaning he'll be able to make babies, or if they're going to be banded or castrated, and then made into what's called a wether. A boy without his working parts is called a wether, and they're usually either pets or you can put them to work as a pack goat. So let me move on back here. Hi, Mama, Monarch. She's still got that wild instinct in her, so she's still just a little bit skittish. You see, if I'm patient with her, if I'm slow with her, she still keeps her distance. You see, she backs off, but she doesn't mind as much with us being in here with her babies, because she's an awesome mama. I was going to say too, on this little guy, it's kind of like having a scab that's ready to come off. That's why he's bleeding a little bit. There's a cap that comes off as they heal, and these two little boys have been butting heads with each other, being goats. Goats will be goats, playing. And so he's got a little blood going on, but that's totally normal. Hi, Masala. Hi, boy. Now these girls, we did last week, my husband and I did a whirlwind 2.5 days there, 2.5 days back to a Kiko breeder in Dodge City, Texas. He actually has a YouTube channel. It's called Bodie Art Kikos. That's BOIS, capital D apostrophe capital ARC, Beau d'Arc, and it is French Cajun. They're in Dodge City, Texas, and I actually chose these little girls from his videos. That's not the normal way to do it, but I mean, welcome to the 21st century. So let me introduce you. And again, these girls were not really habituated to personal interaction with people, so they are still skittish. They're all about 3 months old. This little gray one here, she's actually, in the breed standard, she's considered a blue, because in the certain light, she does actually look blue. So her name is Blue Jean, and that was brought on, one, because we were listening to the radio and we heard David Bowie's Blue Jean come on the radio, and we were like, that's perfect. I actually have, my mother was named Janine, and she was very commonly called Jean. And I also have, my father's sister is a Jean, and I called her Aunt Jeannie. So I figured it was apropos and appropriate to have a Jean in our herd. And again, she is a blue goat, so she is Blue Jean. And carrying on with royalty, we have a monarch. So this little brown doe is Duchess. And Duchess is the largest of the three. I believe she was born first. And then over here, we have our little cutie. I'm just totally in love with her. This is Onyx Star. And if you see, she's a good bit black. It looks like she has some red undertones, but she also has that blaze on her head, so she is called Onyx Star. And I am just super excited to see what we do and how these girls grow. And as you know, the three dairy does that we have, we're up on Cause We Can Farms with Heather. We have Layla, Penelope, and Chiba, and they are La Mancha, just like Boomer, and they are a dairy breed. So our plan and our intention is to raise primarily the meat side. One, to tap into the local meat market to sell, and also have some pack goats. Although with Boomer is absolutely, he's just a year old and he's not done growing and he's huge. So anything that we have from him will very likely be good candidates for pack goats as well. It's more the meat breeds that are considered for pack goats. And like I said, I'm not sure what we will do. One of these baby boys from Boomer and Monarch will go to our freezer. If I can convince my husband, he's starting to really fall in love with them. And if you see me bouncing around a little bit, it's because I'm getting beat up on by baby goats. Like I said, they're doing that jumping, that parkouring. They'll use anything they can to jump off of. So yeah, the dairy goats will provide us enough milk for our own consumption for dairy products or goat products like soap, like cheeses, and enough for the pigs that we get. We are going to be getting some pigs here pretty soon, and I want to be able to have as much self-sustaining as we can. So the input for the goats, the grasses are greening up. It's finally spring here in North Idaho. So I've been putting them out on the grasses here on the property, on the rental property, so that it cuts down on the feed bill. Grass-fed milk and grass-fed meat. I am super excited, and it just goes from there. The milk that we get from the dairy goats will sustain us, will sustain the rest of the herd, the pig herd that we have. We have potentially an opportunity to get into breeding, a breeding stock, many breeding of Mangalitsa, and they are considered the Kobe beef of pork. They're also called the woolly pig because they actually have this very cute curly Q wool. It's not a normal looking pig. If you look up Mangalitsa, Manglitsa, the meat of the Mangalitsa is phenomenal. So it looks like we may be getting into some breeding stock. We're also going to be getting some crosses. The thing is with Mangalitsa, they are a very slow grower. It takes about a year to a year and a half to get to a butcher weight versus other breeds or crosses that you can butcher within 6 months of being born, 6 months of age. So we're going to do both. We're getting a couple next week for the fast growers. They'll probably be harvested late fall, early winter, and the Mangalitsa will continue to carry on and raise for longer growth and what I think is far superior quality meat. Very awesome tasting. They're very fatty pig, but with all that fat, there is so many different products you can make as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. Thanks for joining. As always, be blessed, stay awesome, have a joyful day.